I think at the end of the day, apart from, of course, learning what we have to teach them, they also have their own worlds and their own stories. And I think it's important to ask them for their stories. All right, my name is Hannah. I'm from Brunei, but I grew up in America. So I'm a full-time teacher at IEG. I've been a full-time teacher since about the same month as last year, since October last year. I think the learning environment is really good. The students help a lot. They're great. I have such brilliant and differently charactered students. I care about them a lot. And also going back about the work environment, I think it's very professional and people are generally very friendly, and I don't feel like I'm being restrained as a teacher. I'm allowed to teach any way I can. I can be creative. I can bring new things to the table. Yeah, I feel like IEG provides a good professional development scheme for teachers. I think they're very consistent in kind of giving teachers a guide on how to be better educators in general. So I think that's something that's very important. And they're always very clear about what they require of their teachers. Well, I've always wanted to be a teacher. I've always enjoyed teaching students, and I've always cared about kids. I love working with kids. And I also think I can learn a lot from kids as well. So that's why I'm in education. When I come into the class, I think I notice first always is the energy of the room. And I teach quite young learners to kids who are kind of 12 years old to 13. And also their energy is still quite high. I usually enter the classroom sometimes after a long day and I can feel tired, but as soon as I make contact with the kids, I feel very energized. So I take that with me at the end of the lesson as well. Well, my approach to teaching is that I generally like to have a range of activities for the students so they're not bored. They're always moving from one activity to the next, but I always make sure that whatever they're doing, they're moving from, a state of calm to maybe a game where they're more engaged, and then back to a state of calm. Maybe they're doing a reading or writing task. Probably classroom management. Classroom management is very important, I guess, in my line of work and my role as a teacher for young learners. When I first entered the education industry, I didn't know much about classroom management. I love kids and I love playing with kids, but I didn't know how to discipline kids. So that's something I learned, especially at IEG, with teachers, other academics, giving me feedback on how I can better run my classes and control the class. I've learned a lot of things from my kids. I ask them a lot of questions. I think at the end of the day, apart from, of course, learning what we have to teach them, they also have their own worlds and their own stories. And I think it's important to ask them for their stories. I teach a science class every Saturday, and for a few weeks we've been learning about magnets, and I let the kids draw comics sometimes because that's one of their activities. And I remember that in one class, the students drew me in their comics, and it was just this really strange cartoon character with a magnet in their hand. And since then, they keep drawing me in the same way, just with a little magnet, which I thought was really sweet, because it just means that they associate me with someone who teaches them. I'm just kind of like the magnets teacher.